Good morning, everyone. My name is Salahuddin Ahmed. Welcome to Galileo's webinar on the capabilities of telematics for mining industry. My name is Salahuddin Ahmed. I'm the Regional Development Manager at Galileosky, and I'll be hosting the webinar for today. Today, let's talk about what task can be solved with the help of telematics in mining enterprises. So today's webinar, I'll be having with me my colleagues, Mr. Dimitri. He's the project engineer from Galileosky, and also Mr. Praveen. He's a CTO from Yatis Telematics. They are partners for mining solution in India. So this webinar will be of 60 minutes duration, and we will be sending you all the information through by email, what you have registered with us. And also you can ask, we'll have a question and answer session after this webinar, at the end of the webinar. So before we begin the webinar, I would like to have some updates from Galileosky. First of all, we have about the configurator. We have a new version, and where we have released recently a new firmware, allowing all the users to configure easy logic scripts to control the devices and use advanced functionality to connect to a monitoring servers. And we also open for joint participants in the events and marketing department. Our marketing department is also open for cooperation for cross marketing events. And you can follow us on LinkedIn, you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube, and for the latest updates and information. So I would like to hand over to my colleague, Dimitri, who will be taking over about the next slide presentation. Over to you, Dimitri.
Okay, thank you, Salah. So, what actually we can provide you, which solution we can provide you for situations when the GSM network is actually unavailable. There are too many possible scenarios where you need to extract data from equipment that is placed in areas where the GSM network is currently unavailable or will never available actually. We have a lot of such places in our country, and I believe in many countries such situations quite possible. The mining sector is quite a good example of this situation. So that's why Galileosky team developed the Wi-Fi solution. Right now, for our clients available devices, tracking devices, Galileosky 7X Wi-Fi. These devices, among other, equipped with the Wi-Fi interface, which allows it to work not only via the GSM via the GSM network, but also transfer the data via the Wi-Fi network. Actually, the device all the time works with both channels. For example, if the vehicle from time to time can travel in areas where the GSM network is available, the device will automatically upload data via the GSM network. But if the Wi-Fi network is available, it will also send data via the Wi-Fi channel. But it's not so simple. So about the device, actually it is the same 7X device that we used to. It has the same interfaces like CAN interfaces, Bluetooth channel, RS-232, and the RS-485 interfaces, one wire interfaces. It supports 2 SIM cards, micro SD cards, and all features they are available, like Easy Logic, CAN scanner, all this stuff. So basically it is the same device, but it also equipped with the Wi-Fi interface. And basically we provide several different opportunities. So the simplest approach is when the device is actually connecting just to existing Wi-Fi network. It can be satellite internet available in your area, So you just need to provide the Wi-Fi access point. In this case, the device can connect to the existing Wi-Fi network and upload the data. But in most cases, in most scenarios we at least know about, even if you have a list of vehicles that is always in the area with no GSM coverage, there is still some vehicles that travel in this area and out of it. It can be the bus which moves the people from this area, or it can be the refueling vehicle that brings the fuel to these vehicles that are constantly working in the area. So at least some ways, some means to extract the data from the area with no GSM connection still exist. So our idea was to provide you the way how to extract the data from vehicles that are also inside the area with no GSM coverage to some area where at least some means of communication is still available. That's how this scheme works. So basically, 7x Wi-Fi devices can work in two modes. So basically, it can be the client mode when the device is trying to connect to GSM network or Wi-Fi network and upload the data that is stored in the device memory. But the device can also be switched in the hub mode. What does it mean? It means that the device in hub mode can be the like an access point to devices which work in the client mode, and this hub device, 7x Wi-Fi device that works in the hub mode, can collect the data from clients and then upload this data to the server. This is the first scheme that you can see on this diagram. So basically, the data can be downloaded by the hub from the client, and then this data can be uploaded to the server via the GPRS network or via the Wi-Fi channel. It depends which means of transmission is available. Actually, it can be both of them. It doesn't matter for the device. So what's the idea? The idea is that your vehicles that are constantly in the area with no GSM coverage, this vehicle are equipped with Galileosky 7x devices that working in the client mode. So you just install these devices, and actually that's all. Everything else works automatically. On your bus, which you use to move the people in or and out of area, or it can be the refueling vehicle that also must travel outside this area to get more fuel and bring this fuel to your vehicles in this area. Let's speak about the refueling vehicle just to simplify the scheme. So this vehicle is equipped with the same 7x Wi-Fi hub device, but it works in the hub mode. It means that this device, during the process of refueling, can also download the data from the client and store it in the device micro SD card. So, and obviously each vehicle will spend some time near the refueling vehicle, and it allows us to download data from all clients. So you are not limited by like the scheme one client, one hub. Each hub can download data from as many clients as it necessary. But for now, at least in stable software versions, each hub can work at the same time with the only one client. But we have also now test firmware which allows the hub to download data from 3 clients at the same time. But basically, in the stable firmware, each hub can work with the single client at the same time. But you need to understand the Wi-Fi channel is quite fast data transmission channel, so it will not take much time to download the data from the single client, and after that, the client disconnects from the hub, and the new client can be connected to this hub. So it's actually even the single client with the hub is not actually the limitation of this function. So after the hub collected data from all your clients, it in most cases moves in the area where at least some means of communication is available. So it moves to some base where can be the GSM coverage, or it can be the local Wi-Fi access point that that is available. And in this case, the Wi-Fi hub device must be switched to the client mode, because after that, the hub must connect to the existing Wi-Fi network and upload the data to the server. What is interesting in this solution is that all magic is actually hidden in the equipment, because you don't need to update somehow. You don't need to add some new feature to your software, because from the software side, data uploading process from the hub device looks like if the hub was connected to the server, and then it disconnects. Then the first client, which data is collected in the hub memory connected to the server. It uploads the data, disconnects, and the next client connects to the hub. So actually the hub appears to the software as each of clients were connected to the server. So you don't need to improve your server. You don't need to rebuild the logic of your server. All magic, as I said, is hidden inside the hub logic. So it's very comfortable to the client, because you can use any server that actually support Galileosky protocol, and there are actually many software now support this Galileosky protocol, and you can use the same software as you used to with this feature. You don't need to update it. You don't need to ask the software support team to update some feature. It works the same way as if actual client was connected to the hub. So again, you need to understand that the hub will try to upload the data to the software in any means that is available. If the device is in the GSM coverage area, it will start uploading data via the GPRS channel. If the Wi-Fi is available, the device will upload the data via the Wi-Fi channel. The only difference is that the Wi-Fi channel is more preferable, because in most cases it's like cheaper and it's faster. So if both GPRS channel and the Wi-Fi channel is available, the device will work via the Wi-Fi network. It will connect to the existing Wi-Fi network and upload the data via the Wi-Fi. So it's quite simple. Here on this diagram, you can also see the complex scheme when the data from the client can be transferred via the several hubs. Yeah, this scheme is also available, but in this case, you need to create the simple logic, because when the first hub uploads the data to the second hub, it must be switched to the client mode. It isn't so hard with our as you can see, in most cases, in any question you ask, we, in most cases at least, answer that the solution is easy logic. So in this case also, the devices equipped with the Wi-Fi can be switched between client mode and the hub mode with the simple easy logic algorithms. In most cases, the trigger which allows the device to switch between modes is the geofence. So you wrote a small geofence. It can be arranged in the geofences file, or it can be arranged exactly in the easy logic algorithms. We have the samples of algorithm that can be used here. So in this sample, you just need to put the coordinates of the base and parameters of the Wi-Fi networks in this algorithm. So you can just use our usual algorithm, which is available on our website. You can actually watch full video. In this video, I was describing the easy logic, but for now, you just need to understand that it's quite simple. You don't need to create something complicated. Everything is actually available for you all the time, so you can just use already created solutions to arrange this logic to the device. So it's actually quite simple. So again, the idea is that you can use Wi-Fi devices, Galileosky 7X Wi-Fi devices, and these devices can work in two ways: client mode and the hub mode. And the hub can be switched between modes via the simple easy logic algorithm that should be uploaded to the hub device, and that actually it's all. The system works perfectly without any additional actions from your side. But there is one point that you need to also understand, is that hub devices must be equipped with the micro SD cards. So the personal data of the hub can be stored in the internal device memory, but client's data is always stored to the micro SD card, so you need to use micro SD cards. About micro SD cards, I will also speak a little bit later. So what about settings? The client, actually settings, they are quite similar to play with. Yeah, thank you. What about settings? So in case of settings, they are quite similar as if you connected your cell phone to the existing Wi-Fi network. Here you can see examples, screenshot from the configuration application for the client and for the access point. So, and here you can also see the example of settings, how the device is, the Wi-Fi client is set on the VLAN. This is the screenshot from the VLAN. So the first one is the client. One thing that you need to understand is that for the client, for the device, Galileosky 7X device that works in the client mode, and it must upload the data to the 7X device, which works in the access point mode, that the primary server must be not your server, but this address 192.168.1.1. So this must be the primary server for the client. In case that this device can also from time to time appear in the area with the GSM coverage, you can set your actual primary server as the second one, and in this case the device will send the copy of the data to your server when the GSM network is available. But previously, I advise you to contact with the support team of your software and ask if the server can automatically ignore the data that the same data that is received from different channels, because after some time the access point will also, the hub will also upload the data from this client, and you will have sets of two sets of data, the same data. So if the server, like the VLAN, for example, can ignore this double data, it's okay. You can use, you can set your primary server as the second one in the client. If the server do not support this function, it's better to use only the Wi-Fi communication channel, and in this case, clients just can work without actual GSM connection. You can even not install the micro SIM cards in these devices. So again, when we make settings for the client, you need to set the primary server with these parameters, and the port must be the same as the port which available in the software settings. So port must be always the same. It is the same for the client, for the hub, and it is the port that is provided by the software. Please be careful with it, because if this port parameters, they are different between client, the hub, and software, the data will not be transferred to the software correctly. So again, please be careful with it. It's very important. So, and here we have also settings for the Wi-Fi. As I said, the settings, they are quite similar as if you connecting your cell phone to existing Wi-Fi network. So you need to set here SSID. It means the name of the Wi-Fi network. Authentication type, usually it's WPA, WPA2, and the password for this network, and basically the client mode. Here you can see also additional parameters like RSSI and period of sending the data to the hub. These settings, they are important. By default, RSSI is set to -100, but in most cases we advise to make settings like -90, because when this is the limit of the signal where the device will not try to connect to the hub. And if the connection is poor, it is better not to try to connect to the hub, because some data can be lost during the data transmission process. And according to our experience, when the signal is about 80, in this case, the data transmission process goes without any issues, and the speed is good. So it is better to set here about 90, but still the default parameters is 100. And the second important parameter is the period of sending data to the hub. I actually dislike this this parameter explanation because it doesn't explain how this parameter works. So the idea is that in case your hub can be in the area where several clients presented. Oh, please do not switch pages. I still need the previous one. Okay, so in case that your hub device, which works in the hub mode, in the area where several clients available, the situation possible that the single client is connected to the hub because it has the strongest signal. It will connect to the hub, the first one, and during the data uploading process, it can collect more data in the memory and try to reconnect to this hub again and again. And in this case, this client will upload all his data from the memory, but another several clients will not have a chance to upload their data. So that's why we have this parameter period of sending data to the hub. It's actually not the period, it's a timeout. So in case that you know that in your client situation, the hub device appeared in the area where several clients available, you can set this, not the period, it's actually the timeout longer. So how this parameter works? Actually, it's a timeout when this client will not try to connect to the hub device again. And this allows other clients to connect to the hub device and upload their own data. So in case that several clients can be in the area with the hub, it's better to set here period of settings maybe 1 hour. So to be sure that all clients connected to this hub and uploaded this data. So in this case, there should be no issues with several clients and a single hub. All clients will have time to connect to the hub device and upload their data to the hub memory. About access point settings. Settings they are the same, but in this case, the primary server is your actual server. Here we have example of settings to the VLAN software. So here the IP and the port for 7x Wi-Fi devices. And the settings, again, the settings they are provided by the software. Oh, sorry. And Wi-Fi settings, they also the same. The only difference is that operation mode here is the access point. And we have the mark here, archive collection, just to be sure to explain that how the device works. So again, the only difference, the name of the network, authentication type, the password, they are the same as in the client settings. Please be careful with the settings because in case of mistake, clients would be able to connect to the hub. So the only difference here is the operation mode, the access point. In this case, again, the parameter works the same way, but the period of sending to the hub, it's in this case, this parameter doesn't apply. Okay, again, please be careful with settings. This part is important. And again, do not forget that your device that works in the access point mode, it must be equipped with the micro SD card. This is mostly all that you need to know about this equipment. As for clients, should it be equipped with the micro SD card or not? It depends on the period of time, how often the hub device appears in the area where the vehicles placed. According to our experience, with like usual settings, internal device memory is enough for at least 1 week of independent work. It means that if the hub device appeared in the area at least once per week, internal client's memory must be enough to collect the data for at least 1 week, and you don't need to use micro SD card. In most cases, it is better not to use micro SD card to increase the capacity of the device memory because micro SD card, they are not so reliable as the internal devices memory. So we usually advise to, in most cases, use internal devices memory because it's reliable. We quite rarely have issues with the internal memory. It's like exceptional cases, and in most situation, you will not have any issues with the internal devices memory. So again, if hub device appears in the area with devices with clients at least once per week, the internal memory must be enough for that. So you in most cases you don't need to install a micro SD card to clients. The micro SD card must be installed only to the hub device. But again, it depends on the situation. You need to collect as much information about the project from the client, how often the hub device will appear in the area with vehicles, which parameters necessary for the client, because you know the amount of data in the point. It actually explains us how long the device can work without uploading data to the software. About the time, how long does it take usually for devices, for the clients to upload data to the hub? Here you can see the examples, like usual settings for the clients, and how long does it take for clients to upload data to Wi-Fi hub in case of 7,200 points stored in the device memory. So here you can see different parameters. So, but basically you can see that it takes about 5 or 6 minutes for the device to upload 7,200 points, and it's quite similar to 24 hours of work of the device in usual conditions. Again, it depends on different settings, because some clients can ask you to like store point every second from the equipment. It can be a huge list of parameters, and the single point can contain about 1 kilobyte of the data. So this just examples of information. It doesn't mean that in your cases the device will upload data for 6 minutes 20 seconds and that's all. It depends on settings, it depends on the situation, it depends on the signal strengths, because in case that the Wi-Fi signal is weak, the data transmission process can take more time. But it's just for information for you to understand how long does it usually take for the device to load the data for one day. And about antennas, very important to install Wi-Fi antennas this way that it must be the direct view between hub and client antennas, because if they separated by metal, the distance where the data can be transmitted, it will be shortened. So in most cases, according to our tests, I was actually involved in this test. It was quite interesting process, because in the middle of the winter I was running about around the office with the notebook and trying to collect the data from clients that were installed on behind the window. So basically we received the data from we have the strong connection between the client and the hub in the distance about 40 meters. But it was the direct view between two antennas. You need to understand this. So it's very important to install antennas, both Wi-Fi antennas for clients and the hub, this way that in most cases that should be the direct view between client antenna and the access point antenna. Be careful with it. And we also, oh, sorry, yeah, I will switch to the previous page a little bit later. So we also have several types of antenna which is available by request for you, but according to my experience, there is actually not much difference between this antenna. But if you know how vehicles approach to each other, it might be more interesting for you to use directional antenna. These directional antennas from the left side, they are installed on the metal surface. In this case, these antennas works like they have more better signal if the antenna is installed on the metal surface. So these antennas they are directed. The strongest signal is perpendicular to the surface of the antenna. So in case that you're using these directional antennas, these antennas must be like to see it placed this way that the surfaces should be set to in front to each other. So in this case, the signal will be stronger. And if you know how your vehicles, the client vehicle and the hub vehicle approach to each other, In case of the refueling vehicle, it's actually obvious because the fuel tanks usually from the one side of the vehicle, so you know how to install the antenna. If you don't know how vehicles will approach each other, it might be more practical to use omnidirectional antennas. In this case, you only need to think about the placement of the antenna so that antenna must be installed as high as possible. It might be installed on the roof if it's possible, if it's allowed by the client, so that again antennas must be in the direct view to each other. And the only thing that you need to think about is that antenna must be situated in the area the same way. So if the hub antenna installed vertically, the client's antennas must be also installed vertically. If the hub antenna installed horizontally, the client's antenna must be also installed horizontally, because this how this antenna works. In other case, the distance between clients and the hub will reduce. So again, please be careful with antenna installations. At least for now, these different antennas, they are available for you. So if you have information from your client how the antennas must be installed, you can choose which antennas will be provided for you with Wi-Fi devices. And again, if you have more questions about it, you can always contact our support service. We will give you more information about these antennas, how they should be installed, provide you more recommendation. So please feel free to contact our support team. We always glad to assist you in your projects and provide you as many information as possible. Yeah, here in chat you can see the Galileosky support team email. So please feel free to contact us. We will this information will be provided for you. And I also promised you that I will speak about microSD cards. Usual microSD cards that you can buy in any computer shop, they are not recommended, because usual standard microSD cards, they are not supposed they were not developed for this condition where usually telematic equipment works, because all these temperature fluctuations, vibrations, electromagnetic disturbances, humidity changes, they can all damage the usual standard micro SD card. That's why we recommend to use industrial class memory cards. Again, you need they has much higher prices, but it is important to use industrial cards, because in case the micro SD card is damaged, you will lose all the data from which was collected by the hub from the clients. So it is better to buy high quality micro SD cards, and again, you need to install micro SD cards in most cases only to the hub devices, so it mustn't be an issue. We run tests for different industrial class micro SD cards that we managed to buy, and these two models, they shown the best results. During our test, we was using the climate camera, so we changed the humidity, we changed the temperature, and we was running. We tested it on overwriting process. So these two models, they showed the best results among other models. And again, please be careful, because there are too many copies of micro SD cards, so you must be sure that you bought the original micro SD card. Please be careful of it, because in case of the damage of the micro SD card, you can lose all the data from your clients, and it can be a problem. So again, we recommend to use industrial class memory cards. It is important. It's very important. Please be careful with micro SD cards. And again, the price shouldn't be an issue, because you need to install micro SD cards in most cases only to the hub device. And in most projects, according to our experience, it can be 2 or 3 hubs in the area, so it should not be a problem. Okay, I told about antennas, I explained you settings, told you about micro SD cards. So I
Thank you,
think
Dimitri.
this,
Thank you, Dimitri. That was a great
yeah, it's all
presentation.
technical details that I wanted to provide you. If you have questions, please ask them in chat. I am still with you in chat. I will try to answer your questions. And at the end of the meeting, we have also have the Q&A session. So I will also try to answer questions.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you for your attention. I'm still with you in chat.
Thank you, Dimitri. I would like to introduce Mr. Praveen Pravitran, Chief Technology Officer of Yatis Telematics. Yatis Telematics is one of the leading companies in the Indian market that provides IoT solutions, and it specializes in mobile app tracking and custom IoT solutions. Praveen, you're up. You can go on. Your mic, please.
I presume now.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Salah, Dimitri. Dimitri, thanks for the great presentation. Hi, folks. This is Praveen here. I am the CTO and the head of product at Yatis Telematics. Today, we will be talking about Yatis Telematics, particularly with the mining solutions for above and underground. In case you have any questions, you can post it on chat. We will be taking all the questions post this meeting. Okay, a little brief about Yadis Telematics. We are an Internet of Vehicles company. We founded in 2015. Uh, the founders are all engineers with expertise in semiconductors, software, wireless systems, and automotive systems. What we provide an end-to-end solution. So we give you full solution with hardware, firmware, software, and cloud. We also provide analytics and decision support systems, all associated services, including installation, etc. With operations between us and our partners, we cover more than 200 cities in India. So we, depending upon where it is, we are able to support you with features you want. To begin with, we started with the trucking industry. As of now, we do anything that moves, and also vehicles that do not move or machines do not move are all supported on a platform. Okay, a little highlight about some of our customers. So a lot of our customers are, you would see, are the tech-enabled aggregators in Bangalore, like Black Buck, Redbus, Fortigo, etc. We've also worked with a lot of shippers shipping out alcohol with Diageo Woodpecker, glass with Saint-Gobain. We also worked with a bunch of fintech players in Cholamandalam and IndusInd Bank, where we provide tracking solutions for the vehicles which for UBI purposes and for vehicles that were funded by these banks. We've also worked with the mining section with Hindustan Zinc, Amnex, also right now with Ultratech and ITD. What our value proposition? So we are a software company and we support about 20 plus GPS vendors, uh, hardware vendors, including Galileosky. We do Indian vendors and international vendors, including AS140 devices. We have a software cloud platform that can support more than 1 million devices on a platform. We can support you both internationally and locally. We provide multiple types of services. So from full tracking analytics, we can provide you the data via APIs, Excel sheets, the way you want it. The so the We provide everything all the way from R&D, implementation, and support. You don't have to worry about privacy. We do not share data with other with anybody else. Your data is yours. Most importantly, we customize applications for your particular requirements. So what we do is, for based on your problem statement, we find the right hardware for you, and our software is flexible enough to take all of it. So, for example, for the mining industry, we found that Galileosky instruments are extremely useful, and we have integrated those devices to a platform. So some of the mining problems we solve, network and edge processing, which Dimitri highlighted, where you can have hubs and clients in places where you don't have a network, it's managed. Among the operational topics, we manage vehicle health maintenance, asset management. You can do current location with geofences. You can look within trip between zones, identify when vehicles are going to forbidden zones. We have advanced analytics that give you utilization based on zones. So based on, you could have multiple zones in your mine, in your factory, and we'll give you the utilization each of the vehicles in each of the zones. among other items that are integrated with the sensors which we support fuel sensors, tire pressure monitor sensors, tilt sensors, etc. Okay. So network and edge processing. Well, this is the Galileosky device which Dimitri showed extensively about. I will just give you a brief highlight about it. These devices have great antennas, ultra-sensitive antennas. They can they give you GPRS, Wi-Fi. We also do something on satellite. They have capability to store data with when there is no network. We provide dual carrier SIMs, and you can do a lot of things like time critical tasks can be done without having to talk to a server. They can be managed locally. So these are the great value proposition which Galileo Sky provides. Okay, some of the screenshots or applications which we do. So we have a very strong vehicle health and maintenance platform. So you could see whether your assets are in tip-top order. You could know, we could access the data from the CAN bus to know if your issues have any maintenance issues, have any diagnostic trouble codes. We can monitor items like say temperature sensors, etc. To do that. You can get all the information with the diagnostic trouble codes. So I mentioned, you can also schedule maintenance depending upon the way your product is. So in some vehicles, the maintenance is triggered based on number of hours, whereas in some vehicles or some items, it's based on amount of time the vehicle moved or the mileage, the distance the vehicle moved. So all that is configurable on platform, and we provide all those interfaces to you. The other item is to understand the asset allocation and utilization. So, first thing first, you got to know where all your vehicles are. You could know the zone-wise location, so you could have very customized zone definitions for your platform, uh, for your applications. You could know if your vehicles are going into forbidden zones. You could have times of when that happened, dates it happened, the time it's spent in each of those zones. For example, you can highlight the number of trips between, say, a warehouse and a site, or a digging area and a dumper. You can, and as is mentioned before, you can have utilizations based on working hours, locations in each of those. So if you have multiple zones, you can get number of working hours done in each of those locations and the exact profile of how your vehicles perform there. Number of working hours is extremely important in for mining vehicles. And the way in which, so we provide multiple ways in which you can count that. We can configure the working hour calculations based on vibrations, RPMs, movement, or even based on some inclined sensors, certain angle changes, etc. We can do that, and therefore you can have exactly the kind of we can give you extremely customized reports for your equipment and vehicles based on how many hours a particular equipment has moved. Fuel solutions. So again, how much has my vehicle consumed? What is my cost? Fuel is a huge topic across the world and in India particularly, with fuel prices increasing. You could get to know how much fuel is being used by your vehicle, by your equipment or vehicles on a weekly, daily, or monthly basis. How much is filled, consumed, pilfered. We have solutions with capacitive sensors which give you high levels of accuracy, and we could do that for filling vehicles or large consumption vehicles. We also support fuel meters. These fuel meters are interesting for places where there's a lot of fuel flowing through. They come at a slightly lower accuracy, about 3%, but fairly good. And then we have customized dashboards to give you data by each of the assets. The other item we have is fuel This is an example of a fuel refuel event. So what you can see over here is you can see where your vehicle has moved, and you can see the location at which a refueling event happened. We keep track of the fuel in the tank. So as you can see, the fuel in the tank reduced as the vehicle moved. It was flat and the vehicle was not moving. And there's a refueling event which is seen over here. We can get access to when the refueling event happened, where it happened, with full control for you. The exact opposite of a refilling event, pilferage or fuel theft event. Identically, so here we can show you where and when the fuel theft event happened and how much exactly was stolen. We have that information, and that information can be provided to you via our dashboards or applications. The other things we also do is tire pressure monitors. So we can integrate tire pressure monitor setups. So in when you get into the details of how fuel is consumed or how you want to save fuel, tire pressure in is extremely important. If your tire pressure is less than 20% of what's actual, then your tire lifetimes are about 30% less. In case it's 30% underinflated, you have 45% less. If it's overinflated, also there's a reduction of uh, tire lifetimes and an increased fuel consumption. So there are ways in which we support multiple tire pressure monitor sensors. They could be installed, they could be based on the valves or on the brim, either ways depending upon this. For mining vehicles, it's usually valve sensors are what works. It's integrated with GPS, so you can get an exact access of what's happening on your vehicles. We can get so even if you have a multi tire solution, we can identify which it's, which tire has a problem, whether which location it is, and what exactly the problem is. It could be an underinflation problem, it could be a leakage problem, or it could be a puncture, a very serious puncture, and all of that can be identified. We can even identify overheating issues with your tires and raise escalations uh, the way you want it, either by SMS, email, or an app notification, or on the dashboard notifications. Other sensors that are also integrated include load sensors. So for leaf and air suspension vehicles, we have load sensors. These are they can we can they support a variety of interfaces, RS485 or CAN. The accuracy is about 2 to 4%. So you can capture fairly large changes of load can be identified. You can get alerts for if there's a load change in the middle. This is a chart, a sample chart of how it looks, where you have loading events, unloading events, partial loads, etc. No cargo. So as you can understand, it requires the first process of after installation calibration to identify no cargo zones, partial and full cargo zones, and after that the whole thing will work. So yeah, so what we provide at the end, we can provide an integrated dashboard that covers all your sensors, and at a command center level, you could be accessing all the information, the metrics, escalations, and the reports are easily available. So that's what we do. Uh, that's my time. In case of any questions, please let me know. We can take it.
Request if you have any questions, guys, please can mention in the chat, and you can ask the Dimitri. I think there's one question you have answered already.
Yeah. This one single question in the chat, so I believe I already answered it.
Okay, great. So you have a question now. I think it's for how many vehicles are in your platform now? I think it's for Praveen.
We have more than 80K devices in our platform. The Galileosky are just ramping, so we are in a few units right now, and we are ramping up massively with. In a few months, we expect to have a few hundred devices from Galileosky on our platform.
So basically, we are trying our 7X LTE and Wi-Fi hub devices with Yatis platform currently. So Dimitri, you have any advice, suggestions for the devices further? Any information to be given?
Uh, yeah. Hello, Matt. If you have the single 7x Wi-Fi device and you want to uh, set this device so that it upload data directly via the Wi-Fi channel to the server. In this case, you need to set the device in the client mode, and in Wi-Fi settings, you need to set parameters of your Wi-Fi access point, and the primary server was must be your actual primary server where the device must send the data. So again, if you use the simple scheme when the device connect via the Wi-Fi network and upload data directly to the server. You just need to set it in the client mode, make settings for the Wi-Fi access point, and set the primary server where the device must send the data. Please note that at least for now, 7x Wi-Fi devices work in only with the 2 and 2.4 G Wi-Fi networks. So if you have the 5G Wi-Fi access point, the device will not be able to connect to this network.
Great. Great. So recently, Mr. Praveen, I think your team has attended this IMM exhibition in Kolkata for the mining industry, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, sure. So any further questions, please? So I think all that's all we have. Yes, we have got one more question for you. Yes, it's for Dimitri. How can we access your platform? Share link for detailed learning.
I believe question about the
Praveen.
platform is not for me.
Yes, Praveen. Yes.
Yeah, so what I'll do is, so we can shoot. I'll share a YouTube link
Yes.
with our platforms. Um so I think so. I'll just share. So let me see if I can have it right now.
Yeah.
And well, I'll share the link on this chat. And besides
Yes.
that, we will also share it with you later
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
from this email. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Dimitri, we have one more question.
Yeah,
How long
about
are the cables for?
Yeah, about the cables for antenna. Uh, I believe it about 2 or 2.5 meters, but if you have some specific request, it is possible that we have antennas with different cables. So it is better to contact the sales team and ask if antennas according that suits your request available, because we have different antennas at our disposal. So it is better to arrange this with the sales team. They're different.
So we have shared the email ID, so you can get more further information through on this email ID, please. Yeah, Praveen, if you could share the link
Yeah, I'm doing a
for yeah,
videos.
great, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Praveen.
So you can also, so I presume there will be you would also send some report at the end of it with, so you can add this, you can send this link
Sure.
out also. Yeah.
Yes, we will do that. Yeah, perfect. So any further questions, please, for the devices and the platform, or any further information needed? Anyhow, we will be sharing the recorded session to all the email IDs that has been registered with us very soon. I would like to thank Dimitri and Praveen for being a wonderful presentation for this today. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you, sir.
everyone for your time.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
hope this
Thank you all.
meeting was helpful for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you
Have a
all.
nice day.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.